Hey, thank you for tuning in. This is The Basement Show, and this episode is going to be the Phück House of Horrors.
We talk about spooky shit.
Ghosts, goblins, other shit.
No goblins. We don't talk about goblins.
No. Let's start with me and Noah talking about ghost babies. Having a baby.
Having a baby.
You ever want to?
Do I ever want to?
I don't want kids.
Dude, I don't think I do, but every once in a while I think about it and I was like, dude, I want to have like a little dude, that I talk to like an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to have around. Be like, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing,
What's
dude?
up, dude?
Hey.
Dude, yeah, teaching a kid how to fist bump, that seems cool.
Yeah, making fun of him for tripping and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you dumb fuck. You
Yeah.
gotta put one foot in front of the other. Stop trying to walk with both at the same time.
Yeah, we'd be great dads. We just make fun of our kids and fist bump them and push them in a pool too early. Like, just
back when their head is too big for their body, so they just flip around and drag to the bottom.
Their head's the weight dragging them down. Yeah, no, isn't that like that's a weird dad thing? Is just like pushing your kid into the pool to teach them how to swim. That's
almost killing your kid most of the time. Did your dad throw you up in the air and catch you?
I mean, not that I remember, but I was also very tiny back then.
My dad used to do that.
That's a common baby thing.
One time my dad threw me straight into a fan.
Nice.
When I was in a TGI Fridays.
Why are they throwing you in a restaurant?
You gotta meet my dad.
Yeah, he's a restaurant thrower?
He's a fucking weird... He used to practice karate on my little sister's head in Starbucks. Yeah, he was like... He's a black belt in Kenpo karate.
Oh, God.
And he would ghost hit her in the head, so he'd like be doing his katas, and he would stop like an inch away from her face, and we'd be in line. And
just to prove who's boss.
Exactly. Dude, we'd be in line, and all these like people in the line would be like, you fucking know this guy? Like,
why is he fake punching this baby? You haven't, like, it's...
He was, like, faking out my, like, 6-year-old sister.
Yeah, I feel like dudes have different reasons that they want babies. Like, I just want to practice dummy to fucking karate chop. Well, yeah, having a baby seems like a lot.
Yeah, like realistically...
Understatement.
I would. Yeah, dude, it seems like a real pain in the dick. Like you want to fucking watch TV and he's like got to eat or something.
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't know. Fucking. Yeah, I think. Dude, I don't know. We don't need more kids.
No, for sure. No, I'm very anti population growth.
Yeah.
So. That would just be... I mean, people say that, and they just... I mean, keep fucking, though.
Fuck another baby out of a person.
How hard is it...
Take somebody else's.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't have a kid.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. It's also like, I'm a selfish person. You know?
Sure, yeah.
Dude, I want to do my shit. I can't do comedy if I got a kid.
What if... Now, hear me out. What if we adopt a baby, me and you...
Yeah.
And then we raise it
on the road,
and then, once we're touring, we just have a feature act that we don't even have to pay because he's our kid.
Well, I feel like there's some laws.
I just remembered this. Okay, so my dad, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
Kind of, quote unquote. I don't want to get into the whole backstory, but he used to do comedy with a guy. And they would, go to different churches and do comedy together. And this guy, what his act was, he was, did a lot of song parodies.
Yeah.
And he didn't play any instruments. But he brought out his, my age son. So at that time, his, 12, 13-year-old son who was really good at playing guitar. And his son would play the guitar while he sang weird song parodies.
Just holding the mic?
He would sing, his son would play the guitar. Yeah.
That's a weird way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a... Jesus Christ. That's all the rice. So yeah, he would be like, look how cute my kid is, and he's talented, and also, here's like a... no one knows what it's like to be the Batman. And it was about Batman. Yeah. Like really cheesy song parodies.
Dude, I think I've heard that parody.
Probably. I mean, it's probably hack.
Yeah.
He thought of it, but probably not the only one who thought. He was now he's a ghost hunter. So.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he went from comedy to ghost hunting.
Dude, you couldn't keep it away from ghosts. You couldn't keep it. I knew we were going to come back to this.
No, like, you want to talk about ghosts? Like, no.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, okay, that's how fucking ridiculous those people are.
Yeah.
Is that he went from comedy to ghost hunting. It's a backup
Honestly,
plan.
if that was my trajectory, I would not be upset. Dude, when I first moved up here, I was just like, maybe there's a job. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a job I can hunt for ghosts.
Oh, dude. Fucking... I guess we can't talk about ghosts for a second. How I told you about the ghost tour that comes to my work? Do
they come inside, or they stare at the wall outside?
Parking lot outside, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not even... I thought it was a cell phone app. They have, they give them actual thing, cell phone-shaped things, and then it's like, alright, well, this parking lot has been known for some activity, so why don't you just fucking point your bricks in the ground and walk around? And then they do. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a scam.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I grew up on a... So, this is related, but, where I grew up was supposed to be super haunted. And, from the stories of people I knew that talked about there, they said it was, demonic. Shit, you know what I mean? And there were legit witches in my area who used to go up and do rituals and shit. And it's whether or not you believed in it, it actually happened.
Can we go back? You said legit witches?
Legit witches.
Legitimate witches.
Dude, you've never met a witch?
Not a legitimate one.
Well, that's also your.
I think we have different terms of legitimate. No.
No, not a legit. I mean, legit in the fact that it was a real fucking lady
who said that she was a witch.
Who said she was a witch.
Yeah, I know that's not legitimate to me.
Yeah, but in this area, there are a lot of witches that lived in Marin County.
Certifiable.
Fucking witches. Card-carrying witch ladies.
Okay.
And warlocks and shit. This fucking... but I remember there was one lady who used to freak me out. She always scared me. She had a bag full of flowers and she would throw them. Mm-hmm. And she would be talking to herself all the time. And there was one guy... There's a whole long story I don't want to get into. But fucking... My dad... is a preacher.
It's a piece of preacher.
I almost said peaster, and I was like, that's not the word I meant.
My dad is a turkey baster.
My dad's a pastor. My dad's a pastor and a preacher, and you know that, but Peaster. The possible future.
We don't know that when we listen to this back.
Yeah, and
we're the only two that's gonna listen to this.
Yeah, but fucking. What's it called? Fucking what was I saying?
Peaster.
He was preaching at a church in he was peastering out in San Anselmo at this church, and they were having these issues with people breaking in and vandalizing the church with satanic symbols and ritualistic shit. They would set up pentagrams and stuff. It was fucking what it was. My dad was preaching at this church while it was happening and shit, right? And he got legit stalked by a woman who claimed to be a witch for about 6 months.
Committed.
Everywhere he went, this woman was there. She was following him for over a month. I mean, she probably knows where I used to live.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, that's my fear about having a baby is what if I have a baby and then it grows up to be a fucking lunatic witch? Could you imagine that? You raise it and it's cute and you dress it in pink or whatever, and then it grows up and is Dad, I think I'm a witch. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know. It's just all of that. All of it's ridiculous. Having babies, life's ridiculous. Witches, warlocks.
Witches and
warlocks.
Some of that shit freaks me out.
Why?
It does.
They're just pretending.
You're telling me.
They're not actually talking to the devil, Noah.
No.
I don't know if you know that.
All right. if you came home one night,
yeah,
Silas was up there in their room,
yeah,
like wearing white robes, just fucking like chanting in another language with candles lit in their room and shit, you know, killing a chicken, you know, would you not?
I would be not cool with that at all. But here's the thing: I don't think that Silas is talking to the devil. I think Silas has lost it.
What if you took the chance? You know what I mean? Like, what if you took the chance of, like, not shutting that shit down? And next thing you know, Silas is on the floor with, you know, like curled over on their back with their head upside down, just fucking walking around and shit, you know?
A fucking exorcism?
Yeah, their head spinning around and stuff, you know, speaking in Latin. You know, fucking themselves with a cross,
well, they
you know?
do that normally.
It's like the possibility that freaks me out, because that's so
shocked.
yeah, because it's like, dude, I've had experiences, you know. I haven't had experiences, but I've had moments where I'm like, there's something out there, you know. There's gotta be another level to what we know and all this shit, and it's like
that, but
yeah,
I don't know if you know.
Well, why wouldn't people be able to fucking tap into that?
What?
Why wouldn't there just be like a person who gets it?
You draw some, some salt shapes on the ground, and then you can talk to ghosts.
I think it's got to do with more the power of believing.
Yeah, okay.
It's like Tinkerbell.
This is this Peacher power going into you.
Hey,
and you gotta have faith.
Hey, you know.
Yeah. Here's the thing: if I don't
metaphysics, you know, you believe in metaphysics.
I believe in proof. Quit kicking the microphone.
Do you believe in God?
No.
You don't believe in God, like, even a little bit?
No.
I'm a hardcore agnostic.
You have a hardcore... Well, yeah, I don't believe in... I'm agnostic in the fact of, like, there might be some sort of power out there, but not the biblical God, not the anything that humans have made up God.
See, and that's something I wanted to talk to you about. It's like you're really turning your back on your roots, and I think, look, I just want to say, I see you going down this path of sodomy and fucking sodomy and heathenism, and I would really I just want you to know, like, hey, if you need me, I pray for you.
You sound like my father.
Yeah, I sound like my father.
Our fathers would probably like each other a lot.
I bet they would.
What if our dads started a podcast?
Oh, that would be terrible.
Yeah.
They would straight talk about Jesus the whole time. That's all my dad knows how to talk about is Jesus.
My dad could get into it. My dad could sing some,
Is your dad conservative as fuck?
I wouldn't say as fuck. He's pretty conservative.
Okay.
But, he's cool.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
Ghosts. No, we were talking about babies.
Babies and then
ghosts.
I
took you on this.
That's really the whole, circle of life is babies and ghosts.
Bring it around first full circle.
Yeah.
Dude.
What about a ghost baby?
Ghost baby. You're trying too hard. Let's move on.
A baby ghost, I guess.
Baby ghost. Dude, they got those. You see them, the little 1800s kids, you walk around with, like, the big lollipops and fucking, like, suspenders on and shit.
Dust Bowl babies.
Yeah, they tap dance down the hall. They're like, my daddy drowned me because he couldn't pay for my food.
He was trying to teach me how to swim.
Clickety, clackety, clickety, clackety.
Yeah.
He was trying to teach me how to swim, but my head was too big.
I'm a ghost baby now. I just sank right to the bottom.
You're walking around in a puddle.
Have you ever watched birthing videos?
Hey, this is where we interview Ben Harkins about him saying all his weird witch shit and some stuff about ghosts.
What's your necklace? Let's start with just your necklace. Can you explain to me? I see you wear that a lot, right? What is that?
Well, this is just like a pentagram with a bunch of other shit on it. A lot of little writing. There's just this word Tetragrammaton, which is sort of like an old name for
sounds like a weird shape.
That's like an old name for God. or something in like Kabbalah stuff.
Can you say it again?
Tetragrammaton, and it has 5 syllables. There's 5 points on the star, and there's numbers, and it's just a cool little thing that I like. I have been on a very incomplete spiritual journey for about a year and a half, where I started getting into. I just got a book about summoning like evil spirits and demons, and started reading about Aleister Crowley, and that's how I started getting into it. And initially, it was mostly just sort of a shallow fashion statement kind of thing, just because I like spooky women. Like that was like something that I've always been drawn to. It's like spooky witchy babes, and then
spooky witchy babes.
It's something that I like. I have a thing for. I'm into it, but that's how it started. But then when I started reading a little bit more, and I really liked this book. It's called like The Lesser Key of Solomon, and the whole thing is just I didn't understand the book until like it gives like a description of all these different lords of hell. And tells you like what they are, like they're all like some weird chimera creature.
So each
thing.
level of hell has their own.
No, like this isn't connected to that 7 levels of hell thing. Okay. I think that's more of like Christian expanded universe stuff. This is a little bit. 7 lords. There's like 40 something demons in this book.
Hell is big,
and they're all like these are all like. 40s. Demons who like used to be angels and now they're all like lords of. They have like subservient demons beneath them, and it's this like really convoluted process that I'm never going to be able to execute to like make the thing, because with old magic stuff like it's so dogmatic and specific. Like you need like a belt made out of lion's skin. Like you need like the dress, the garb is all very specific, and you have to create like a sigil for it's like a metal. You have to create these like talismans out of metal that is like gives you command over them. You have to show it to them.
So that's a lot of. You got to learn a lot of different skills here. You got to learn how to hunt a lion and make a belt.
At some point, you could get,
or
you can just buy the thing.
But also, you got to make. You said you have to make your own talismans. You got to learn how to work.
Yeah, there's a couple. It's a lot of metallurgy.
Got a Skyrim.
Old demonology stuff is very much like a lot of the stuff I've read is like pretty connected to like metallurgy and just each
level up your crafting.
Whatever rank of. They all have these different titles. Like some are, I think this is something that got lost in translation when it was brought to English. But like some of them can be considered to be presidents of hell. Which doesn't sound right.
That's
some of them are like marquis.
I think we have a president of hell as just a regular president.
Absolutely. But and I was like, why the fuck are they saying this guy's a president? This guy's a marquis. This guy's a lord. And but at the end, it really maps it out for you, where it's like if they're a marquis, it's this kind of metal. If it's this kind of metal, and it really is like a whole. It's like a recipe for summoning a demon. And I was like, this is so fun. Like this is just really cool.
That should be kind of hard. It can't be. It shouldn't be easy to do that.
Absolutely.
You can't do that willy nilly. You gotta mean it if you want it.
So where did the fascination like start? Like, why? What in your mind was like, dude, I need to get me some demon in my life?
I don't know what it was. Like, I think I was listening to something about Aleister Crowley's life or something, and
he was kind of tight.
Aleister kind of an asshole. Like, the guy's like a bad guy. But
yeah, I mean, he was but I don't.
It's cool that he's like a dark wizard and he like means it, but like he also like. Led people to their deaths and ruined people's lives, like his family and stuff. He's like
I think I just read a Wikipedia page, so I don't know that much. I just knew he used to suck a lot of dick on boats, and then he heard Egyptian voices in his fucking head.
Sort of. Like what he did was for his wedding night, he took his for the honeymoon. Took his wife into the pyramids of Giza, one of the pyramids, and read from the Lesser Key of Solomon, this book, and was like supposedly summoning demons left and right. I don't buy it, but I think he was an interesting guy who attempted rituals on a pretty regular basis. I think he was mostly like a independently wealthy, self-obsessed image of like a dark wizard or something, and he's a pretty bad guy. Like he there was one point where he like led his like lover out into the desert and like just gave them like a lot of like hallucinogenic drugs, I think a ton of like acid or something, and just scared the shit out of this guy with just magic shit and just fucked him in the butt in the desert and left him there, and the guy was scarred for life from the thing. Because it's just like, oh yeah, I went out to the desert with Aleister Crowley.
Yeah, and, that would be so insane.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Like there's like this is all kind of like dogma.
What if he came back and he was like, yeah, we went out there, he did some shit, but I'm fine, you know.
Yeah, it was
back
cool.
To work
like
on Monday.
I just haven't, you know. Me and Aleister are kind of. I don't know, we're not really talking right now. I think
that guy really miffed me. Yeah. He really got under my skin.
When we went on a trip, there was a little things got
ups and downs. Vacations can be rough.
Yeah,
stress is
first time out of town.
That
together.
guy's not that cool,
to say the least.
And there was like even before that, like he was like an accomplished mountain climber, and he basically left like he was pissed off that people were like contradicting him on the climb or something, and there was some kind of accident where like they were like stuck or like somebody was like hurt and they were calling for help and he just didn't do anything and a few people died. So he was like shamed. He was like that's like a black mark on being a professional mountain climber. It's like hey, like you like don't care if people die. Like weird, like horrible guy, but he did have that reputation of like bringing like basically selfish magic to like the world stage, and it's and people are like he's like such a evil guy, and it's like yeah, totally, I guess, but you know that's sort of I think like he had a house in like Italy or something, and he had a whole bunch of this is one of his last cults when he was finally like a cult leader kind of thing with like a house full of people who were fascinated by him, and he they'd have like these insane like orgies and stuff. Like a woman would get like fucked by a goat and then they'd cut its throat, and it was just. And eventually Mussolini kicked him out. He was like Mussolini was like, "Hey, what the fuck, dude? Get out of here! You're out!
If you're bad enough for Mussolini to kick you out, Jesus Christ."
Yeah, pretty bad dude. And I think after that he sort of started to lose money.
Say what you will, but he sounds well traveled for sure. He sounds like a cultured guy.
Yeah, well, if you're wealthy, you can kind of do that. Yeah. He started with like a group called the Golden Dawn, which was sort of a rich people's club for like mysticism in England. Okay. And people would get together, and the Golden Dawn would have like these cool rituals where it's like we use wands, we use these daggers for these things, and basically they sort of combined a lot of old. Like rituals from before Christianity basically wiped a lot of cultures out, a lot of mysticism, and like persecuted them. But like the Golden Dawn was like, oh, we can combine what we know about these things, and sort of formed its own outlook on magic. And it was basically rich people playing games.
What year was it? Like what time?
This is like early 1900s.
Okay.
Yeah. And Aleister Crowley joined the group, and he was such a dweeb from like the joke from what I've heard. Like like he showed up at the Golden Dawn, was like, "Hi, can you guys call me the Beast 666?" And that was like the name he was like insisting on. Like, please call me the Beast 666.
That's a PlayStation username. That's like a name you get pissed off at a con.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, Beast.
Fuck you, Beast. Yeah. But he was like a dweeb, but he like took to it so well that he actually sort of advanced in that little group, and eventually was like, I'm tired of this dog shit like milquetoast magic. I'm gonna become a dark wizard. And that's when he started coming up with his own shit. Yeah. And it was like a do it thou wilt kind of Satanist style thing where you sort of act without regard for others. And that's sort of where it's like a little bit twisted, a little bit lame. Also probably a big part of his psychology when it comes to like the people he would later like fuck over and rape in the desert
the
and
desert,
stuff.
Yeah.
So interesting guy, definitely had an interesting life, but I do think that guy's pretty much an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Noah's a bad person for liking him.
Yeah, well, I never said
everybody's
I liked him.
fascinated.
I didn't know he was
He's like, oh yeah, I love that guy. Oh, I mean, no, never mind.
He's mostly famous for having like a Black Sabbath song about him and stuff.
Okay,
Just
that
like,
seems
Mr.
like
Crowley.
right. Yeah. What song?
Mr. Crowley. It's called. I think it's called Mr. Crowley or something.
That sounds
or
very
I
up
don't.
their alley too.
Yeah,
I
but
think I started reading about him because fucking Lou Reed was like obsessed with Aleister Crowley and shit because of the white light, white heat stuff, where everybody thought it was about amphetamines, but it was really about like white magic and the whole idea of getting into that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know too much about Lou Reed's
he was a cool
history
guy
with magic.
yeah, he was into magic and and beating the shit out of people.
Really?
And also doing that and sitting on people's faces.
I thought heroin was supposed to calm me down.
He did. I think he did more than heroin.
What?
No, he didn't beat the shit out of people. He beat the shit out of women who are people. That was a weird way to phrase it.
Right, okay.
Didn't mean to do that.
Right, yeah.
But,
No, not people, you know.
Not people.
Like girls.
But it was a specific kind of people.
You know, broads. He beat the shit out of broads.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
You followed me on the gymnastics. It was an up and down, but we got to the end.
Not people. No. I didn't even say people.
Yeah.
But, Lou Reed. But yeah, I think a lot of musicians have like had sort of a fascination with like mystic dudes, especially Crowley, who is like both a celebrity and a mystic.
Yeah, because he's the famous guy.
He's like probably the most famous one, and then there's a few like people who are I don't know. I don't even know that many others. I don't think.
Do you know anybody like personally? Like you ever meet somebody at a bar? It's just like another dude, not even lady, like not the girls you're going after, but like a dude, and you're like, you get there like, I just got done doing my rituals. And he's like, oh, me too. Like, how often are you like meeting people that do the same? I
mean, there's a couple comics who dabble, and they don't. I don't think they do the exact same stuff that I do, but there's people. There's a lot of people these days. I think that it's becoming a bit more of like a fashionable, fascination for people. Like people are trying it out because the internet.
Yeah. How deep are you like right now? Like how often are you doing things related to this?
Like pretty regularly, a couple times a week. I mean, I'm not always. It's not always like, oh, I'm gonna do a spell because I want something particularly. I'll just do it to kind of feel grateful or something. Light some candles, light some sage, and think about my place in the universe or whatever, and then just kind of be like, okay, cool. I felt like I met with the spirits or the forces or whatever, and then cool, I'll go to bed or whatever. And it's better than just being stuck in my head about comedy bullshit all the time.
It's interesting because for my background, I was raised very, very Christian. So until I was like a sophomore-ish in high school, I was like by the books Christian, like tell people in public to watch their mouths and that.
I think I had a similar experience. I was definitely a bit more. I was into God and stuff.
So very much not that now, but that does remind me of like how you talk about that is along the same lines of just a Christian going into their room, at the end of the day, they have a conversation, praying to God, praying to whatever your thing is. You're doing your thing. And it's almost just a way to fucking. It's across the board. Religions, anything like that, has a go be by yourself, concentrate on maybe your thoughts, or be grateful, or however you want to do it. There's lots of different ways to do it. Yeah, and just it's almost like meditation is just kind of the same.
Having like any spiritual element in your life could benefit you. I think I for a long time I was like atheist because I was like mad at I was mad that like God doesn't help people or whatever, and like the world is so cruel and it's bullshit and the book is wrong, and so I'd live like angry like that. It was basically not believing in God out of spite, and I hung out with a lot of very intelligent, scientific minded dudes, and they were just like, no, this can be explained by science. This can be explained by science. I'm like, yeah, but you live like that for a few years, and it's like, okay, yeah, science does has made like the world around us, and it makes it work. But there aren't scientific answers to the things that I struggle with on like a daily basis. Like
science answers a lot, but not everything.
It can't teach you to like forgive yourself for being hurt or
that's a good way to put. That's a fucking great way to put it.
I like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot
like there's no scientist who's like, well, I mastered chemistry. I'm a master of like quantum mechanics. My kid is gonna love me. Like this kid is gonna grow up and not resent me at all. And it's like
the equation of love.
Yeah, those are more like, I think those are more spiritual questions, and it's like, okay, I'd like to participate in that a little bit more instead of like deny it.
So what you're doing when you do it, is it the same every time?
No, it's not the same every time. I have like a series of like items that I assign some meaning to. I have a sword. I have candles, sage. I got a crystal. I've got a bell with a pentagram on it. I'm a big fan of that one. That just looks cool. And I mean, the imagery of like the occult bullshit helps me focus on things that have been on my mind. It's mostly I don't think that these items in particular, you can do what I'm doing with shit that you have. Yeah. Like it's not, the reason I use it is because it gets me to where I need to be. Yeah.
Like if you wanted to, you could do it with all the pieces from Monopoly if it means that much to you.
Yeah, that'd be weird. That'd be a little weird. Yeah.
Like the Monopoly, I'm picturing the Monopoly man when he does his thing, and he's like doing it to a thimble. Mm-hmm. Like whatever items mean something to you.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've like read on like other rituals, and it gives you sort of this idea of how a ritual is done, or how you can use that for your own like spells and stuff.
Okay.
Like if you want to like, I don't know, I went on a date with this one babe, and she told me, it was like, sounds like you should do like a tie cutting ceremony to get this shit off of you. And what that was I took something that was like a part of a relationship, and then I took my sword and I cut it. Yeah. And that was like a symbol of like severing myself from this thing and manifesting that into how, I do things now. And that, I mean, people might think I'm full of shit, but I think it works.
I mean, everyone's full of shit. Who cares? Yeah. If it works, then like you said, any sort of thing to better yourself and however that takes facet in your life. Mm-hmm. Well, that's fucking.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's cool that it's a good way to. I like talking about it on dates and stuff too.
Yeah,
just because it's like, hey, where are you at? Like with your deal? What kind of? Because a lot of witches in Portland just kind of do a lot of blow and talk shit, but some people are actually spiritual. There's like a lot of sometimes it's a fashion statement, and sometimes it's more than that.
I feel like it'd be. I mean, this is probably a pretty good place to date as a witch.
I mean, I don't know if there is a good place to date a witch anymore. Like,
compared to like Indianapolis, like if you were trying to find a compatible witch in Indianapolis, you're not going to find a single one.
Dude, I heard Boulder,
Colorado.
Boulder, Colorado's got a fucking witch town.
Okay.
They're like all about black magic and shit. I used to know a guy named Sonny, who he was from Boulder, and he moved out to San Francisco, and yeah, dude, he was just like
mountain magic.
Yeah, I had to get out because all these black magic bitches were sending me some bad vibes, just too much drama. So he moved out to San Francisco.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, dude, a very aggressive gay man, and he was had a mohawk, and he used to talk about how he would see tiny people dancing in shag carpets. The cool guy doing this move. And the shag carpet.
What I know he's doing is he's doing sort of a gyration with his hips. That
is what I was doing.
Yeah. Standing on a chair.
And a double-armed, marionette puppet. Hey! Like,
and we're all
waving
naked.
Up both arms. Yeah, we've been naked this whole
time. Since the beginning.
We interrupt Ben Harkins to call our fathers.
And see what they're afraid of.
Hey, I'm doing a thing real quick. What are you afraid of?
Am I afraid of?
Scared of, yeah. Quick, what comes to mind? What are you afraid of?
I don't know. Probably my greatest fear would probably be falling from really high height.
Okay. Why?
Actually, my fear would be the fatal stop at the end.
Yeah, you're afraid of hitting the ground hard.
Yeah. That was it. You were just going to ask what I was.
That was the thing. Now we're gonna call Noah's dad and see what he says.
I'm with Jake. We're working on something.
Okay.
What are you afraid of?
I'm a badass. I'm not afraid of anything.
All right.
Hurting your mother.
Hurting my mother. That's sweet. Please don't hit my mom.
I'd hurt her anyway.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, fucking.
Oh, you want to talk about ghosts specifically?
I did kind of want to
get into ghost stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what do you think about that, and how does it tie into your ideas about? First of all, I also want some like clarification. Do you have any kind of specific name for the practice that you do? Do you have like a?
Not yet. I don't have it all nailed down to one thing. I mean, it would qualify from like just the stuff I've pulled from. The most like regular word for it would be, I guess, I got one of those. It would be like chaos magic. Or something would be like the.
I've heard about that. Kind of like the Genesis Peorage. Genesis Peorage ran a whole school for that, didn't she?
I'm not too familiar with that name.
Do you know Throbbing Gristle? Do you know that band?
No, I don't.
So they were they were one of like the first industrial bands. They were a big fucking deal in the 80s and shit. And Genesis Peorage was she was the front man, and then she ended up like just having like a spiritual awakening with chaos magic, and she formed an entire school for basically like the ideas of chaos magic and psychic energies and shit like that.
That's cool.
So yeah, dude, she's running some cool shit out of LA. But fuck was I gonna say? And like also, is your view on it? Do you have a dogmatic idea of what you're doing? Like, do you think that there is a right way and a wrong way to perform this, or do you have more like a Unitarian approach of you think it's like you've got a system to work this energy out, or do you think it can apply to other things? Like are things more related?
That's a good question. I do. I kind of lean towards the idea that I guess I don't really know. I don't have like a firm belief about that yet, because I can see myself being like, no, there's a right way to do it, and then just believing the wrong thing, and then learning a short time later that I was full of shit. Like like a lot of the times that I've opened up about magic to people, I would start going off about what I think, and then a few days later I'd be like, I think I might be full of shit here. I think I might be wrong about this. I think that I do believe there's some sort of like divine thing out there that's you can tap into, and I think that that's real. I think that's a very like practical, like physical thing. That's but I also think that as a person, it's so far beyond my comprehension that I'm not going to figure that out. And people have been struggling with it for thousands of years.
Yeah, for like fucking forever.
And we've always somehow been like wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I'm going to have, like, the answer for that. I'm not going to know exactly what the literal way to do it is. And that's, I do believe that, like, there is it's not just a self-help thing. It's not just a meditation thing. It's more than that. There is tapping into something that is conscious and a part of all of us, I think. And so there's that. I guess that's the best way I could answer that question, is that whatever I would have to say about it, I'd be probably wrong.
Do you see other people that like irritate you with the way they do it? Like you're like, they don't know what they're doing. Like they're doing it for. Is that ever an issue? Like,
if somebody's just like a fucking asshole about it,
like
there's
a Catholic looks at a Protestant and vice versa, like they don't know what they're talking about.
When there's like a group of like shallow witches getting drunk doing blow together, and they're just like, we should curse him. They're like, that's where I'm kind of like, fuck you. Like that's where I'm like, all right,
just for funsies, we're gonna do a little curse.
Yeah, it's
just
like,
we can.
It's like, hey, just I mean, I think the way that it works the best.
What bars
is
do you hang out at?
well, I mean, I don't hang out at like. There's not like a witch bar that where witches are doing coke. This is like this is after hours, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
They get their meetings.
But
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I've had stuff like that where I'd get a little bit annoyed just because I feel like people can be a little bit emotionally like shallow when it comes to like using magic as like I think it's like I was talking to Lacey about it. She was like baneful magic is what was the term that she was using for it, and I was like, okay, sure, like, and I do believe in that stuff, but I'm pretty sure that it works, but when people sort of casually throw it out there as like as a joke thing, that's where I'm kind of like, I don't really know if you guys mean it. And it could just be like people are just joking around for a bit.
Yeah.
But you know, I have heard I've heard that, and then I thought that was annoying. Yeah.
Kind of the way I see it with a lot of things, just to do with spirituality, is just like, it's got to kind of come from a place of authenticity, of like egolessness, and also from like a complete lack of expectation in order for it to truly have any effect. Like, really, I think it's got to be completely present. I don't know if I agree with
like the lack of expectation. For me, it's like one of the biggest things that it's done for me is like it's given me this ability to like ask for things.
Yeah.
Like, because I kind of have always been a pretty passive dude. I would think like if I didn't get something, it's because I didn't deserve it. Like I didn't do the right things to get things that I want. And I couldn't ask for things like to anyone about anything. Really, I had this sort of toxic, working class level of like, well, you don't deserve it. Like if you deserve to be poor, you deserve to you don't deserve to get on this show or this or that or get this opportunity or get a better get a raise or I don't know, all the things that like I wanted in life. I was like for somebody who can be like really get into just shitting on yourself like on a regular basis, that is an addictive thing that I still do a lot. And so doing a little like ritual where I like kind of feel like I'm just a part of a bigger thing and then asking for something, that helps me a lot. That's where like what the intention, like applying intention to turning like this like turning like whatever I'm suffering through into an intention is like a good part of spell casting.
Across the board, just putting intentions out there, and that's again,
and it helps in my regular life too with my friends, just talking to people.
Like I brought this up with Noah before. Is that like I was watching a documentary about psychedelics, and there was a study where people found that they can, like, if they take acid with the intention of quitting smoking, then they can cold turkey quit.
I think there's something to that.
But just taking acid doesn't make you quit smoking. It's like and same as like a vision board or just putting out intentions of like, this is what I want to do. This is how, I want something like this to take place. It just somehow fucking prevails. And
yeah, I think there's always something to the idea of coming completely apart as a person and then setting like a point for you to like get to and then coming back together at that point. We're making a decision like that can it's having an intention.
Intentionality is very powerful.
I think what I mean by like a lack of expectation is more like you can put out you can ask for something. Like a big one for me is like the removal of fear. Like that whole idea in order to like remove something like that or self-centeredness or something like that where it's just in my everyday life I can move forward with my intentions without being hindered by those kinds of issues or
I got you. I think I know what you mean, and like that's sort of I heard somebody like make this distinction. I think it was like Colbert on somebody else's on like Mark Maron's podcast or something. He said something about how like magic is like is like steering the Godhead, and like faith is like believing that you don't have to, kind of something like that. Where it's like, okay, like remove that's like. So, like, with the spell casting angle, that's, like, asking for something, but, like, the faith that, like, whatever, like, is going to happen is something that, you're not alone with, or or maybe there's some sort of an intelligence or a reason to it.
Okay, yeah.
But you're also kind of taking it into your own hands a little bit. It's like faith, like a Christian faith is like, God will take care of me. I just believe, like, no matter what I do, God's got my back. Like you're, again with the intentionality, like you're saying forward, like, no, I'm gonna do some shit to, make it better for me. Like
I'm gonna ask for something, It's just
you're going out and putting forth the effort
and being able to ask for the right things, because a lot of the times the shit just works and you get what you asked for, but like in order for that to happen, it seems like there is a bit of a sense of humor and a bit of a monkey's paw to the way it happens.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, was it worth it? Was this part worth it to get that thing that I was like asking for? And it's like sometimes it's not like, and you're just like, okay, I guess I don't know how to ask for things, and that's humbling.
Yeah. Again, that just kind of reminds me of how I used to.
I just drank a ton of fucking
go pee.
shit.
You got a Red Bull, you got a water. Again, that just kind of reminds me of like how Christians pray. In that, like, sometimes you sit down at a meal, you say, "Oh, thank you, God, for the food. Thank you for this. Thank you for that." But sometimes, you sit down, you're like, "Hey, God, I could use an Xbox. That'd be pretty dope." Like, you're asking for too much type of situation of like. And that kind of goes back to what you were saying about sometimes you don't deserve it. Like if you don't get, like, you can't go sit down and pray for $1 million and expect it to come to you the next day.
Yeah, and I don't think that like deserving it is necessarily what the rules are that are like apply to getting what you want. But like when you're asking for something, you gotta ask for something you actually want. You can't just be like, hey, I cracked the code. I'm at the fucking kid. Like, it's kind of like you have to be a little bit honest with yourself, because
that's the sound of Noah going to the bathroom. You can hear it.
Oh yeah, here in the basement, you get to really know what's going on down here.
Dude, I can hear. If nobody else is in the house, I can hear them come in, and I can discern whose footsteps are whose and where they go in the house. I know where everyone.
You know what everybody's doing all the time.
I can send Noah a text, be like, "Hey, come down here," and I can like wait 5 seconds and then hear his footsteps. Down the stairs. I know everyone else. Everyone's in this house. I know where they're at. The house has got the boots, big heavy footsteps. Noah's a bit lighter. Ben's never home, so I don't have to worry about Ben.
Yeah, a bit of a security detail.
Oh yeah,
out there. Like, I don't recognize these shoes.
Whose shoes are those? We got an intruder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I when on that thing where it's like, okay, why don't you just use it to like get $1 million? Like you have to sort of acknowledge that you live in a world that like has real shit going on. It's not some dream that you can just manifest whatever you want into reality.
If that was the case, you'd see that in the headline, Leo. Man casts spell, wins lottery next day.
Guy figures out the whole deal. Like
guy figures it out.
He just can manifest. So there wasn't a house there, and now there's a house there. Yeah. He can shoot fireballs at his enemies or whatever. That's just that's never.
I would pray to that guy.
Yeah, that'd be cool as fuck. If there was like a literal.
I would be his follower for sure. To end this episode, we'll be playing a clip from when Dylan Jenkins was over. We talked about getting scared.
My grandparents weren't hoarders, but they were like, they owned an antique shop back in the day. They lived in a house my mom, swear to God, is haunted. You know, all this shit. Like, had like secret passageways and shit in it. And the thing is they just like rolled with all that shit, right? So like they moved out of that house, moved into another one, and they ended up building a house. My grandfather was like, he had no money, right? But he was like, I'm just gonna go crazy into debt and build me and my wife a house to die in, and then the bank can't do shit. What ended up happening was he just ran out of money, got the house built, everything he owned was repossessed by the bank, so now he's in an apartment. But
the banks are like, you think you're the first person to think you're going to fuck us?
Dude, we're the bank.
We are the ones who fuck.
No, we're the bank.
But this house he built was just like, it made no sense. Like, he built a brand new house that was creepier than the haunted house that he had. There were like doors on the ceiling. There were like just locks and keys everywhere. They had an antique doll collection, and they had a bunch of
that right there, the antique dolls. Like,
they had antique clocks all over the walls. They had like hundreds of these clocks, and they'd all go off at the same time, so midnight every night.
God, dude.
I was just like cacophony.
Yeah, dude, I did not like Mama and Papa's house.
Yeah, that's what what if normally they don't care about that? Just like, we don't even like our I don't want our grandkids to come over here. Let's make it as creepy as possible so they hate it here, and then we just get a nice, quiet house.
Dude, my great-grandparents' house, they had a second-story deck and a first-level deck in the back, and there was a metal spiral staircase that connected the two things.
I don't like that. That's creepy.
But... Dude, that was, in my head, that was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
On the plane, it was like some of my earliest memories. I was just blown away. Like, wait, staircases can go like this?
Yeah. You can do circles?
Yeah, and it's just, it was like, fucking 8 feet or whatever. Yeah. It wasn't like a grand thing, but just, man, like when I was a kid, that was... But that second level of their house was, like, creepy. Like, they're the basement level. Like, it was finished.
Okay.
But it was just like, I remember having the heebie-jeebies, something fierce.
Yeah.
Grandparents' they're always creepy.
Dude. Yeah.
It's like, my grandparents live in I don't even know how old house in, like, the middle of nowhere, Georgia.
Damn.
Like, not like old school plantation, but like old school, like, was around during the plantation time.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. Like, just on some plot of land with, like, it's like, surrounded by trees and forest. It's on just some fucking clay dirt road, and that you gotta drive like 20 to 30 minutes to get into like an actual town. Like,
so there's been some positive vibes.
It is scary out there, especially at night. You're just like, dude, if you see somebody you don't know there, you're dead. Like,
dude, I was just thinking about this like recently. Just like, yeah, man, like how fucking. Like, nighttime can be creepy and scary, like, now.
Yeah.
But, like, just when everything, like, lit up. Like, I just, like, thinking, like true, like, darkness. Yeah. Like, pre-electricity. Like, the night. Like, no wonder there's so many fucking scary ass stories. Like
you stay in.
That would be terrifying.
Right next to your shotgun.
Yeah.
You light a fire. And
yeah.
You say, I hope nobody comes.
Yeah. And it's just like, anybody you see out, like, you've got nighttime confidence. It's not good.
Oh yeah.
I've been listening to these podcasts about like Bill Cosby and Jeffrey Epstein, just like, and like they're both done. Like the Cosby one's done by the L.A. Times, and then the Epstein one's done by like CBS News.
Okay.
And like, you know how like fucking like copycat trends like. For a while, like Christopher Nolan movie trailers, everyone had like that. Whoa!
Yeah.
And so now it's like every fucking trailer has that.
Oh yeah.
But like so for these like major news like crime like podcasts, like the scoring for them is done the same. Like so it's all like when when someone starts telling like so that's when Bill handed me the glass and like it's just like. Dun, 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 dun. You know, like just like some like ominous fucking like shit,
like a cello far
away.
A
cello far away, and all this shit, and but it's definitely like I'll be like listening to it, like going from like my apartment like to like my car, and just hearing like that ominous. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking like freaked out. I'm
looking behind you.
I'm just like, oh shit, is this how women feel all the time? Fuck, that's terrifying. Like, it took that for me to realize, like, because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling kind of weird walking to my car at night. It's because of this creepy music that I had plugged into my ear.
Anything in the dark.
If a guy's, like, ever, like, I don't understand why it's scary to be a woman. You just need to get a cello and play it near his house and just walk into his car.
Yeah, just listen to a podcast with the eerie sound. It's like every Netflix true crime thing. They all have the same intro style song.
Yeah.
Like, it's all going back to like the Making a Murderer one. Just
They make you feel something. Music.
Yeah.
I was just walking home from the grocery store the other day, like just through this neighborhood. It was like 7 o'clock, so it was kind of getting dark. You know, like the sun had kind of gone down by then. Listening to music, and it was just kind of a instrumental, like kind of like you're saying, like not like specifically spooky vibes, but just like eerie. And it was dark, and there was no street lamps, and then all of a sudden, like right 2 feet to my left, I just hear a dog, like, and I go, ah, and I jump, like, ah,
yeah, hell yeah,
and then as I look, it's just some girl with her like Pomeranian, like tiny
little dog nipping at you,
yeah. And I literally I jumped, and I go, ah! And then I'm like looking at her.
You made that Pomeranian's fucking life. That dog's finally like, yeah, that's what's up. You validated every unnecessary bark of that dog's life.
And I looked at her, I was like, oh, hi. And I just kept walking. Hello.
That dog was probably walking around wherever their house or whatever, just like, yeah, fucking run shit.
Hey, thanks for listening. That was the episode.
It was a whole scary episode.
Yeah. Hopefully you're not too scared, and you're gonna come back next week.
Or not. You don't have to.
Please do.
If you want to.
Even if you don't. All right.
Hey, this is the Phück Hause of Horrors. Horrors.
The Phück Hause of Horror. It's
horror. That's what I'm saying.
Horrors.
Horrors.
We're going to start off with just Noah and us talking about what it would like.
About what it would like. What it would like to be. And that is this.
Hey. This is a basement show.
Hey! This is a basement show. Hey! Welcome to the basement show. This is the Phück Hause of Horrors episode.
Horrors.
Hey!